Hi everyone, welcome back to Pretty Girl Confessions. I am your host, where I like to confess everything I know about being a pretty girl. And today we're going to be talking about more of body pretty privilege, which is the topic of today. Specifically, being fat is a choice and being skinny is a choice. So every single day we are given a million choices to make. We get to choose what we wear, how we do our hair, if we're going to wash our face, brush our teeth. I hope you're doing both. What we're going to eat, how we're going to move. And we get to decide if we want to be fat, be average, or be better than average. And I'm never going to come on here and tell you that a certain size or a certain body type is the best or the prettiest, nor am I ever going to tell you that like a certain hair color or just different phenotypes are better than others. That's up to you to decide. But a lot of us can't agree on what is looked at as the beauty standard, what is globally accepted as being beautiful. I think we can all look at an array of photos of people's faces and pick out the same person as being the most beautiful. So today we're talking about bodies. And the reason why I wanted to talk about this is because I still to this day hear people, I've had people that have been in my circles or used to be in my circles, tell me some crazy stuff that I literally could not handle hearing. And that's why I'm no longer friends with some people. But sorry if I come off a little snappy. I am in my menstrual phase right now. And I want to talk about cycle syncing in another video because that is some confessions on how to stay super pretty. But today we're talking about being fat as a choice. It is. And a lot of people will talk about things like genetic disorders, how much your body wants to hold on to muscle, like lean mass versus fat, and how you can have diseases that make it harder for you to lose weight. And I'm here to tell you that yes, all these things exist. Yes, you could grow up in a family where you had no one teaching you how to properly view food, no one teaching you how to emotionally regulate yourself, and you could have certain diseases that make it harder for you. Or you could be on birth control that makes it harder for you. Do you hear the key word I'm saying here? I'm saying harder. I'm not saying impossible. I'm not saying that you can never lose the weight. Because one of the best facts I like to bring up to people when they tell me, I can't lose weight because my genetics or I got diagnosed with this is, it is physically impossible to not lose weight when you're in a calorie deficit for your body. It is physically impossible. I mean, literally just Google it. Google if what your baseline base metabolic rate is. So you BMR on how many calories you burn just by existing. If you eat below that and you're just sitting in bed all day doing literally nothing, you will lose weight. And that's not from exercising, that's not from running on a treadmill, that's not from doing anything crazy. That's not from changing your disease or diagnosis or your family genes. That's not from any of that. I'm not telling you to do that. Please understand, I'm not telling you to do that. But what I am saying is to be blaming everything outside of yourself for your weight is a victim mindset. It's a victim mindset. And it's really sad because you are giving up all of your responsibility. And it's sad. It's sad because once you give up all your responsibility, people start becoming this really pathetic version of themselves, where then everything starts to be no longer their responsibility. Nothing's ever their fault because they're projecting things onto external factors. Oh, well, I can't lose weight because I work 40 hours a week. Yeah, but you manage to go on Instagram 6 hours a day. Or 2 hours a day, or 30 minutes a day. So if you're able to go on Instagram for 30 minutes a day and you work 40 hours a week, why can't you do some squats 30 minutes a day? Or why can't you meal prep 30 minutes a day? Or why can't you read something that would give you the information to make it easier to make well-informed decisions that would help you lose weight? Ever thought about that? This is why I cannot stand when people tell me to my face that it's impossible for them to lose weight. No, it's not. It could be that you just have no clue what you're putting in your body. That's a big one. So for me, I went through a lot of emotional things, and I've never been one to really be an emotional eater, but I felt like I got destiny swapped with a little bit. I'm going to talk about that in another video. And it caused me to kind of feel like, oh my God, who am I anymore? I don't like who I'm seeing in the mirror. I don't feel like I'm as pretty as I once was. I don't like what my body looks like. I don't like how my hair is. I was thinking all of these things, and it really hurt my ego, my confidence, and my pretty privilege because I wasn't taking good care of myself, because I wasn't tracking what I was eating, what I was putting in my mouth. And that's one of the biggest things I have to tell everyone is, if you truly want to improve how you look physically, actually know what you're eating. If you can't list off every single thing that you put in your mouth today, that's a problem. And yeah, we have holidays. When I'm filming this, it's right after Thanksgiving. But you can find the solution to pretty much any problem. If it's a food problem, unless you're a child or in prison, you have control over what you put in your body. That's a fact. Even in prison, I mean, I've never been, but I'm assuming the guards aren't forcing you to eat every single thing on your plate. Granted, it's not the healthiest food, it's not the best food, but my point here is, if you still live with your parents and you are an adult and you get to cook and all these things, then you get to choose if you're going to have 2 entire pints of Ben & Jerry's ice cream, or if you're going to have a healthy meal with lots of vegetables, good proteins, healthy fats, and then maybe if you're still in your calorie range that you want to be, you can fit a healthy treat at the end of dinner. That's how you do it. It's not rocket science. It's not this secret, crazy ritual you have to do on a Tuesday when it's a full moon. Like, people act like it's this whimsical, crazy, invisible thing that they can never quite understand. But weight loss is so easy. The only thing that really does stop people is either they're not informed, they're lazy, or they just don't care. It's one of those 3. You either don't care, you're lazy, or you don't know. And if you're here, you probably know, but you may need a little help somewhere else. And I'm here to really help you that want the help. So you may know a little bit about weight loss, you may not, but I'm here just to help all the pretty girls level up and become their best, prettiest version so that they can really fuel themselves and feed themselves. And for me, losing weight was so important. And sorry if I'm like rambling, I kind of tend to ramble a bit. That's why this is like the 5th take of this episode. But weight loss is extremely easy, and it's really easy to fall off the bandwagon whenever it's been 7 days and you're really sick of it. And that comes down to habits. That comes down to habits and your lifestyle. And it sucks to hear, but truly, if you want to embody the best version of yourself, then you have to only live as that version of yourself. If you want to be this supermodel-esque figure, then you have to eat like that. And a lot of people don't like eating like that. That's why there's not a lot of people that are fit, especially in America. Do you know how many people are obese? Let me look up the number. Oh my God. So in the US alone, 73.6 adults are either overweight or obese, with a confirmed 40% having obesity. Almost half the population in America is obese. So if you are not, if you're not obese, you're doing better than almost half of the population. But if you are a average weight, which average weight nowadays pretty much means not obese, but if you are in a healthy weight range where you're not overweight, that puts you in a quarter of the population. That levels you up automatically. And I think we can all agree here that being overweight is never attractive, in my books at least, because there's so many bad things that come with being overweight. First of all, you have hypertension, high blood pressure, high cholesterol. You're at risk of getting a stroke, or not getting one, but having one, having a heart attack. You're more susceptible to just everything, diabetes. I've even heard dementia and Alzheimer's. You increase your risk of those by being overweight. And it's all up to you. It's all up to you all the time. So being overweight is 1,000% a choice. Being fat is 1,000% a choice. Are you going to continue to sit down and watch Netflix for 2 hours every single night when you get home from work? Or are you going to go for a walk? Are you going to continue to just complain and ask everyone else to come up with excuses for you? Like, what are you going to do? Like, I genuinely don't understand how you can look in the mirror and understand that you are doing it to yourself. You're gaining the pounds by yourself every single day by what you choose to do, and you continue to do it. So being overweight, being fat is 1,000% a choice, because I could choose to be fat right now if I wanted to. I could go to a Mexican restaurant and get chips and guac and all of the cheese, like the queso sauce. I love queso. I love Mexican food. I'm a huge foodie. I'm a great cook, and I'm aware of it. Okay? So because I'm aware of it, I use something called a scale, and I also meal plan. I figure out what I'm going to eat every single day, and I measure out everything so that I never go over my intended calories. I will say, Christmas, Thanksgiving, yeah, a couple days out of the year, I'll go over. But the thing is, people love to use the holidays as an excuse. Oh, it's Christmas. Oh, it's Thanksgiving. It's not Thanksgiving and Christmas for the entire month. Okay, it's a season. But that doesn't mean for the entire season you need to stuff your face with gingerbread cookies and hot cocoa and eggnog and drink till you're drunk as a skunk every single day. I've never understood that. Yes, there's holiday parties, but you can plan for them. If you know you so badly want to eat all the food that is going to be at this holiday party your grandma's throwing, and you're going to go to it, why don't you plan for that earlier in the day? Why don't you make a plan for, I'm going to have something that's going to keep me full throughout the day and leave the majority of my calories for dinner because I'm going to be at a party. See, there's so many different things I could talk about and references I could make about how people will always turn being fat as not their responsibility, not their fault. People always turn it around and say that there's something else at play. Yes, you could have an issue. Yes, you could have a problem. Yes, you could have a very busy schedule. You could have kids, you could have dogs, you could have a whole farm. But if you're still the one putting the food in your mouth, if you're still the one picking up the fork and shoveling the food in your mouth, you are to blame for how you look. Now, whether you look good in your opinion or bad, it's up to you. It is up to you. And you have to live in it. You have to make your bed and live in it every single day. So being fat is 1,000% a choice. Being skinny is a choice. Being fit is a choice. Being healthy is a choice. So it's up to you if you want to make the right choices that are aligned with your goals. Because if you don't make those choices, no one else will. No one else is going to force you to eat the healthy food. No one's going to force you to go on a walk, work out, give a shit about your health. No one's going to force you to do those things. And I heard this saying a long time ago. I don't know if it counts as even a saying, but you can never change anyone's mind. You cannot change anyone's mind. All you can do is give them additional information so that they can make a new decision based off new information. That's definitely not a saying. But a saying I did hear from an ex-boyfriend's grandma was, the last time you're able to change a man is the last time you ever change his diaper. So that's something I heard, and I think that's a really good piece of advice. I've dated for a long time. Oh my gosh, this is not a dating episode, but I've dated for a long time, and that's very, very true. But yeah, it's up to you, and I am not trying to bash anyone. But if you want to be a big back, if you want to be a big Betty and have angel wings, does anyone know what the angel wings are? So I grew up in lots of youth group with old ladies, and they'd always make jokes about how their arms, whenever they'd lift up their arms, they'd have like the arm fat that's kind of saggy and gross, and it would jiggle if they moved their arms. Like if you bend your elbows and have your fists next to your face and then move your elbows back and forth, how it jiggles. They would say, oh, these are my angel wings. One day they'll get big enough and I'll fly to heaven. Why is that accepted? Why is that cool? What? I don't think that's gross. That's really gross. And I hate that that's a part of society where you accept that, oh, once I get to a certain age, I just stop caring and I eat everything because that's the only thing that's going for me is food. That is so boring. The only thing in your life that's exciting is taste. How long does taste last for? Like what, 30 seconds while it's in your mouth? If you want to taste something so badly, like you could taste anything else. You could have a bite of something, taste it, get the flavor, and then stop. That, like, letting your life be ruled by a flavor is insane to me. But I kind of went on a tangent about that. But yeah, if you want to be someone that has angel wings, go for it. But all I'm saying is you are the creator of your destiny. You are the captain of your ship for your life. And you get to direct all of the scenes. So you get to pick if you're going to look good in the dress or bad in the dress. And it all comes down to how you're eating, how you're moving, and what your habits are. So if you have acted as a victim before, blamed everything and everyone but yourself, I congratulate you for making it to this part of the video. And if you're ready to no longer do that and actually commit to taking better care of yourself and being the person responsible for how you look, congratulations, I'm proud of you. Because being fat, being skinny, and being pretty is actually a choice. And I thank you all so much for joining me today. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And your secrets are always safe with me. Let me know if you want me to talk about anything. And I'll talk to you in the next one. Goodbye.